Human society has always shown interest towards its surroundings, from how to cook, how to make machines work, or even go to the moon. Historic facts show us how people like Albert Einstein and Thomas Alva Edison had distinguished themselves from others, leaving us years later many attributes that we can learn from. Even though us humans have been here for thousands of years, we keep learning from others many different ways to improve our studies. Since people are different, we have developed many methods to learn. One of the many methods we constantly use is called the back model. The back model divides people into 3 different categories. These categories are visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners. Visual learners are those who learn best by seeing things. If you are a visual learner, you would prefer to use images, pictures, diagrams, and maps to help you learn better. You could explain a visual learner as many times as you want about anything, but they will finally understand you until they see a picture that supports your explanations. Using flashcards is a really helpful way to study. Auditory learners are those who learn best through hearing things. If you are an auditory learner, you would prefer watching videos, record lectures, repeat facts with eyes closed, or others to help you learn better. You could demonstrate a picture to an auditory learner, but they will understand until you give them an explanation. Participating in group discussion is a really helpful way to study or understand better for auditory learners. Kinesthetic learners are those who learn best through touching or doing. If you are a kinesthetic learner, you would simulate and role plays, do practice tests for yourself, and other methods that would physically involve you in the learning process. You could demonstrate a picture or explain anything to a kinesthetic learner, but they will understand until they get their hands on it. Repeating answers while you're walking or jogging is a really helpful way to study or understand better for a kinesthetic learner. The next method I'll talk about will be multiple intelligence. It was only 1983 when Dr. Howard Gardner, a psychologist and professor of neuroscience from Harvard University, stunned the world with his theory of multiple intelligence. Gardner proposed 9 forms of intelligence that reflected different ways of interacting with the world. One type of intelligence is visual. A person who has this intelligence acquires the skills of reading, writing, sketching, or constructing. Another type of intelligence would be linguistic. A person who has this intelligence acquires listening, speaking, using humor, or explaining. There is a mathematical, or also known as logical intelligence. A person who has this intelligence acquires the skills of problem solving, classifying, categorizing, or complex math calculations. Body, or also known as kinesthetic intelligence, is when a person acquires the skills that involve movement, like dancing, sports, craft, or acting. Musical intelligence is when a person acquires skills like singing, composing songs, or remembering melodies. It is unquestionable that a person who acquires the skills of reflecting, building trust, counseling, or listening has the intelligence classified as interpersonal. Reflecting and analyzing for themselves, reasoning with themselves, or recognizing their own strengths are all factors intrapersonal people have. Furthermore, another type of intelligence would be naturalist. A person who has this intelligence acquires the skills of using graphic organizers, brainstorming categories, or sorting and organizing. Lastly, there's the existential intelligence. A person who acquires this intelligence has the skills of collective consciousness and collective values. Now I'll talk about the brain and both of its hemispheres. This theory of structure and functions of the mind suggests that the two different hemispheres of the brain control two different ways of thinking, and that each of us prefers one mode over the other. The two different hemispheres of the brain are distinguished for different manners of thinking. The left side responds to language, logical, critical thinking, reasoning, and numbers. The right side responds to expressing emotions, music, color, images, intuition, reading emotions, and creativity. Did you know the two hemispheres are physically separated and their only connection is through the corpus callosum? The corpus callosum is a thick, white band of nerves deep within the brain. Before I made this research, I thought I was a visual learner. After taking a couple of back online tests, I found out I was a predominant auditory learner. That means I had to change my study plan completely. From making my notes in different colors that attract me, I will have to pay more attention to my teachers when they're explaining in class. Since I found out I was an auditory learner, I started to question myself in how or what could I benefit myself with. After my research, I found out that I could benefit myself from asking questions until I have a clear understanding in what my teacher is explaining, repeating facts with eyes closed, or taping notes after writing them. Not only did I find out I was an auditory learner, I came across with the surprise I never thought I could see. I found out that my lowest learning style was visual learning. I began to ask myself what could I do to improve my visual learning style. From my research, most of them said that I had to practice until I could develop the skills. These are some learning tips for visual learners. Keep books organized by size. Use color post-its for your books or notebooks. Use color pens or pencils to write with. Use different color binders or notebooks for each class, or for the most important ones, or if you have one binder, use dividers for each class.